Tonight in our Back to School series, we're discussing the growing anxiety for students about what a return to learning in the coronavirus outbreak is going to look and feel like. And we want to bring in WBZ's Dr. Mallika Marshall. Doctor, we all know that this is definitely going to be a very different school year for kids. So why is it that this back to school season could be particularly stressful for so many kids?
I mean, I remember getting anxious every time I would have to go back to school, but think about what kids are also having to think about this time around. You know, am I going to get sick? Am I going to make my family sick? Some kids might be afraid to leave their parents. A lot of them have been home for so long, they might have problems with separation anxiety. They might worry that they're going to get in trouble if they forget to wear their mask or they don't socially distance and they get too close to classmates. You know, they're probably going to be juggling schedules that might change from moment to moment. We don't really know what the future will hold. And some kids might really worry about being able to keep their grades up with all of this non-traditional learning. And then of course, kids may miss out on some special activities like competitive sports or playing in the band or appearing in the school play. And all of those things are going to be disappointments.
And as parents, you know, you feel all that and you worry about your kids. What can we do to minimize their stress as they get ready to go back to school?
I know it sounds easier than it is, but you really have to sort of keep your own stress in check, because if you're stressed and anxious, you're going to make your kids stressed and anxious. So you want to try to stay calm. You want to project an air of confidence, like, we got this, we can do this. And you want to validate their concerns. You know, find out what they might be worried about. Maybe they're not worried, but if they are, you want to know what those things are and validate them. Say, it's okay to be afraid or nervous about going back to school. It's okay to be disappointed that you can't play on the competitive basketball team. So just make sure that they feel like they're heard and listened to.
You know, but all of those opportunities, those sports, those social connections, many of those are going to be gone. So what can you do if your children are doing all their online learning as a way to keep them connected?
So the one thing you might want to do is actually have small play dates in person to sort of practice going back to school as well. You know, get a few kids together, make sure there's an adult to supervise them, make sure that they're keeping their masks on, make sure they understand what it means to be at least 6 feet apart. You want to start a morning routine early on so that they aren't frazzled when school actually begins. And even if they are returning to the classroom, I would continue to do some virtual activities, whether it's classes or virtual play dates, just so they stay in that habit, because there's a possibility that they're going to have to go from in-person learning back to virtual learning in the not-too-distant future.
Yeah, I feel like many of us are checking in with our kids a lot more on their feelings about these things, but how can you tell if your child isn't coping well, and what should you do about it?
Yeah, so I have a 15-year-old who doesn't really like to talk about his feelings, so I have to use other cues to get a sense as to whether he's doing okay. So, is your child sleeping poorly? All of a sudden, do they have a decrease in appetite? Are they more irritable? Are they sadder than usual? They may just flat out refuse to go to school, and that certainly would be a red flag. And then a lot of kids internalize things and really just have physical symptoms. So all of a sudden they're having headaches, or they're saying they're dizzy, or that their belly hurts. So if you have any concerns, talk to your child first to see if you can get at the bottom of what's ailing them. And if that's not working, then you can reach out to their teachers or to their school counselor, or obviously to their pediatrician as well.
I feel more calm just listening to you. Doctor, thank you so much. Dr. Mallika Marshall, as always.
Oh, thank you.